Hey there, it's me Celia. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a reading about Justin Bieber. Apparently he has released a statement, or somebody did on his behalf, or somebody leaked it. I don't really know the nature of this statement, but apparently Justin Bieber is going to go after some of his former managers because he feels like he was taken advantage of financially. So he was not getting money that he was supposed to, is kind of the gist. It's interesting that he said former managers, or he didn't say former managers, he said managers instead of manager. So that's more than one. And yeah, I just want to see the nature of what's going on here. A lot of people speculate that Lou Taylor might be a part of that. Lou Taylor from TriStar Entertainment. She is the one that, with Jamie Spears and Lynn Spears, put Britney into a conservatorship, created the whole thing. Although she has denied it, there is email evidence that she was basically plotting for this months, like 8 months before the conservatorship happened. So they were just waiting to execute it. Justin Bieber didn't work with Lou Taylor for that long, just a couple of years, and it was somewhat recently. So yeah, and then there's some, Lou Taylor has ties to Sean Combs, Robin Greenhill, which is Lou Taylor's, what's it called? Accountant. Has been named as hiring a certain type of worker for Sean Combs' parties. So there's that. Yeah, so let's just take a look at it. What has brought him to release the statement and what's between him. I am going to ask about Lou Taylor. There's probably more managers. It might not even be her, but let's just take a look. Remember, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. I don't know anything here. I don't know these people. This is not factual. This is basically just making speculation using the symbology of cartomancy to just help kind of create a narrative. And yeah, it is entertaining. What can we say? No facts, just my opinion, my cartomancy informed opinion, but still. Alright, I'm going to use this book as hopefully a way to keep my cards in frame. It's really hard. This program I use to put these together just cuts the frame for me, and I don't have a chance to cut it myself. And I have some new cards I want to try, but first I'm going to use Herb Crafter's Tarot, and I'm going to do Justin and the energy underneath him right now. How is he feeling? Oh, 10 of Water's Red Clover, 6 of Earth Pine, 2 of Water Mallow, and 7 of Fire Cinnamon reversed. Okay. So with this 10 of Water Red Clover upright, I think there's something about becoming a dad and starting his family where he is kind of stepping into his power, actually. Things that he normally wouldn't do for himself or on his own, he is now able to do because he has a kid. Being a dad puts him in a different level of responsibility, a sense of honor and duty that he normally wouldn't do if it was just him. So I think that's emboldening him to just insist on what is right, and it is the it's a Cups card, so I'm getting a sense that he says it's not right. It's not right what happened, and I don't want to stand for it anymore. He doesn't want to be a pushover. He doesn't want to be taken advantage of. And he is taking a positive step forward for his well-being and happiness. So I see this as a very positive card for him. And I think it's a good fit too, because Justin Bieber is in Pisces, and so this is kind of him stepping into like his rightful state of where he needs to be. So I think he's in alignment with this right now. I don't think it was just a PR move. I mean, I think it could be seen that way, but it's not only that way. So underneath him we have the Six of Earth Pine, and I always think of this as a card of contracts. I think he has evidence. I think he has evidence in paper that the contracts that he signed were shady. Yeah, I think he has expert legal help. I think somebody has pushed him to this. I think there's like a lot of evidence that has been building and mounting where he's like, I don't really want to bother going after these people. People get screwed over in contracts all the time. I just sold my catalog for like 200 million, and like I have money. What do I care? I can go on tour in 10 years and, you know, bring money for my family. Like, I'm fine. He was kind of complacent, but I think as time went on, there was just mounting evidence that things were not going well. He's angry about these contracts. So like these are the contracts that he has had, and there's a fire underneath them. He's like, what? I just heard something then I forgot it. It wasn't that it was unjust, unfair, there was something else. Something that really fuels his anger. Maybe it will come back to me. The Two of Water, Mallow. It could be somebody from Hailey's side that is helping him. When I was preparing for this reading, I was kind of reminded of Hailey's presence and to inquire about that, because it seems like she really is trying to get through to him and put him in the right direction while respecting his boundaries about like stress and overwhelm and whatnot. But I don't really, I'll have to see what this is. And then we have the Seven of Fire, Cinnamon. This is such a cool looking card. Again, we have this fire underneath, like in the background. I just heard, where's my money? And then I heard the word offshore. So maybe he got whiff that. Maybe somebody gave him a tip in the industry, or somebody that knows something told him that things are not right with his money. I really do think he was taken advantage of. The Seven of Fire, okay, so upright, you know, this is real Rider-Waite Smith of me, but I do think of this card as a card of fighting. And this was one of the first cards that I like meditated and spent time with when I got this deck, because I kept thinking about cinnamon from a Chinese medicine perspective and like what it does. And I don't always think about that with these cards, but for some reason it was just coming through with this. When it's upright, it's kind of like the fight or flight aspect of stress and the nervous system and overwhelm. And when it's reversed, it's kind of like a draining away, freeze, rigid fear response. And it's like your power to fight back has been diminished. They're trying to like trick him or take advantage of him. I think they kind of set him up, these managers, and he is now privy to that. And the reason I think that is because this like partnership card and the hummingbirds are like, we're bringing in information from outside in, and it's very targeted. And it's like, hey, connect the dots, make the connection that your contracts are crappy and your money has been taken somewhere else. Yep, so I'm feeling that here. I'm gonna do 3 more. Moon reversed, 8 of Water, Valerian, and Ace of Earth, reversed nettle. So there are some secrets, some shady stuff. Yeah, totally about the contracts that he has been, I don't know if he's been told or he did an investigation or if something was uncovered or a different piece of information came in. There's something that was revealed to him, whether that's from just reading between the lines or some sort of other piece of information that he triangulated, I'm not sure. But there was some sort of deeper investigation based on like a hunch, like, I should look into this, a tip. He looked into it, and this stuff is shady. And this is like the column of, like him and his energy in between all of this shady stuff. And he wants to put it to rest. He really, really wants to be done with all this. And he's motivated to bring this all the way to court or whatever. He's not going to stand by and let people walk over him anymore. He really is like, hey, this needs to stop. We need to resolve this. I need to move forward, and you need to fess up. So I see that. Just the feeling of wanting to put something to bed so it doesn't bother him. Here's him looking at the moon and like reflecting in the nighttime when he was like up and couldn't sleep under anxiety. He's like, wait a second. Unrelated to what I'm stressed about, I am realizing that I've been taken advantage of. And then the Ace of Earth reverse is just like, it's about his money. His coin got squelched, taken away. I think his money was like funneled somewhere, taken overseas, taken to Mexico, could be literally Mexico or somewhere in the tropics or something like that. I have a new tarot deck. Well, I've had it for a while. It's called Mundane Magic. And yeah, it's a different type of deck. It's super cute. It has this like blue edging. And yeah, it's just kind of objects. So like the wands are lighters, knives, and then the cups are lattes. And I can't remember what the other one is. I guess we'll figure it out. Probably just coins or money or something. I played around with it a little bit, and I guess I just realized that I need to start incorporating it in a little at a time. So I've been doing like my regular readings and then adding 3 to 6 cards in just to get a feel. It takes me a while to connect to a deck, so I don't like to just jump in and do all my readings with the new deck. Except I did that with Earthcrafters Tarot, basically completely replaced my other deck. Okay, and so for this I want to see what's going on with him and Hailey and the energy in between them. And then I want to see him and Lou Taylor and the energy in between them. So I'm going to do, this is Justin, this is Luann Taylor. Is it Luann or Luann? I don't know, Lou Taylor. Energy in between them, and 3 more cards for clarification. So Justin is the 5 of lattes. I'm going to read it just because it's new to me and new to you, maybe, unless you have this deck and you have memorized what all these cards say. Not that you need it, but here's your permission to fill your container with grief. The job you didn't get, the pet that died, cry, scream, break, knowing it's never for nothing and it's never forever. So this is the 5 of Cups, and that was upright for him. He is totally coming into connection with all the ways that he has been hurt and taken advantage of, and how much that makes him feel like shit. And so he is in effort to address that pain and to heal it. He is ready to get closure and like move on, but he has to stand up for himself in the meantime. This is the, I think it's this Queen of Swords, but I'll have to see. Could be the King of Swords, but boundary bitch, ice queen, like a frigid gust of winter wind, you shred them and their bullshit. Being of ultimate service to the truth above all else, that bastion you built around your vulnerabilities. Do you even need it? So we're going to take this energy reversed. This is, Lou Taylor is completely ready to fight to the death. I think she is always aggressive, assertive, always has the upper hand in her business deals. I think she always was in the mode to like boss him around. She came into this, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. I'm just somebody on the internet looking at cars. Okay, I don't know these people. This is not facts. This is my opinion. Okay. I think she was always extremely strategic in what she wanted from him and what she was gonna get from him, and she was like gonna take it. I feel like she can't help herself. She always thinks she's above the law, and that's both, regular law and Christian law, because she like brands herself as like this incredibly godly woman. She has a church with Jamie Spears. She like had a church with Kris Jenner, I think. I don't know if it was with her, but yeah, I'm feeling really messed up right now, like really messed up energy with her. I mean, I know this word is like overplayed, especially nowadays with all the Sean Combs things coming out, but I do feel very evil, manipulative, and just like straight up mean, abusive energy with her, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, okay? She kind of reminds me of like Ruby Frankie, where she puts on a face and like does a performance, but she's not at all like what she says she is. Yeah, it's very, very strange. If I knew more about her, besides just what I've heard, it would be interesting to do maybe a reading about what's up with her, like what are her motivations for this, because it doesn't just seem for money, it seems about for control and power play. Well, okay, and then the energy in between them is the Three of Knives reversed. Pain is thought before it is felt. Knowledge precedes grief. Processing. This can't be real. Realization. But it is. Things are different now. It's okay to not be okay. This is reversed, and so I do think that Justin Bieber and or his team knew it was sketchy to go with Luann Taylor. I wonder why they even did. I feel like they knew this was only going to be trouble. They knew that she had a reputation. They knew that he was vulnerable. Okay, he was not in his right mind when he decided to work with her. He was in a big transition of his life and what was happening to him artistically, and she was extremely strategic in like manipulation is not the word. What was the word I wanted to say? I don't really know, but she like masterminded a way to trap him. He knew it wasn't going to work out, and I think being a Pisces, highly sensitive person, I think that he somehow like was pressured or something where he didn't trust his gut, and now he's like looking at all like the details in various contracts and things he's heard about her, and he's like, what? I was totally taken advantage of. I knew it. He knew this was gonna be trouble. I wonder why he did it. I don't know if we'll find out, but underneath we have the Five of Knives reversed, 10 Wheel of Fortune upright, and Ace of Coins upright. And so what are these? This is the nature of why this happened. I'm hearing kind of from both of them. So from Justin, Five of Knives, who do they think they are? They just don't know. Oh, don't they know just what you're capable of? Revenge is a dish best served cold, or better yet, not served at all. Given, and you may win the battle, but you will lose the war. Don't worry your pretty little head. We all get what's coming to us in the end. So what I'm getting with the Five of Knives reversed, this was Justin. He knew this was a losing battle to even try to stand up for her, to her. He was in a period where he's like, I really don't want to do this, but I kind of have to, or I'm just going to go with the flow. He felt like it was a losing battle to even try to fight against this. It could just be that he didn't have a better idea, and so this was the only thing that popped in as an opportunity to be like, okay, I'll just go with this person. And I don't think he realized fully everything that she had done, because I feel like he insulates himself from, watching YouTube videos that talk about Britney and the Kardashians and Lewin Taylor. Like, I don't think that he indulges in content. I don't think that he reads Reddit threads or like conspiracy Twitter. I think that one of his coping mechanisms is to ignore things. So he might have had people say, like, are you sure you want to do this? He didn't get a good feeling, but he didn't have the evidence. He wasn't fully aware of everything. I think somebody informed him. Probably could be Hailey, honestly. Although I see him shutting her down about talking about his business stuff. But eventually he came around. So, yeah, I think it was like the wrong place at the wrong time. He didn't want to put up a fight, and so somehow he got involved with Lou. She was just in this for money. Ace of coins. She just wants it. I want to read what they say. Seed, such a tiny word. Remember biology class? Gymnosperms, angiosperms. Sure, it won't be instant gratification, but germination is slow, complex, exact. Play the long game, kid. You plant in this moment. What you plant in this moment matters. It's interesting that it is right over the Ace of Earth reversed. So from Lou's, and that was thinking, Justin was thinking that he was screwed out of money, and right under Lou Taylor is like, yeah, she was all about money. So she just looked around and was like, who has money? Who might be vulnerable that I may take advantage of? And then in the middle, the energies in between, which I'm feeling that is what this column is. I didn't specify that as such, but this is Wheel of Fortune, tectonic plates shifting, unexpected money found inside an old coat pocket. We're trained to slice our lives into neatly organized, scheduled compartments. But don't forget to leave space for magic, for the unexpected, for the laws of nature. Regardless of our planning, the only constant in life is change. I just heard a new leaf. I feel like he's really waking up. Having a kid is really important to that. I think that he's coming up on like Saturn return. Yeah, it's kind of part of the Pisces story too, where you get like totally broken down and like despondent and super depressed. And I'm not saying that he doesn't feel that way anymore. I'm not saying like he's perfectly well and everything. I mean, I don't know if he's bad, but anyways, I think there is a certain part of him that woke up and is more cognizant and isn't going to stand around anymore. And honestly, I think that being a parent is a really big deal for that. And I mean, I get that. Okay, I want to see him and Hailey. Who do I want to do that? Okay, and then the 6 of lattes was a card that, like, what happened to this? Oh, like I didn't shuffle it? Is that what happened? I don't think it fell out. I think I just neglected this card. It's the 6 of cups. Amygdala, hippocampus, cerebellum, prefrontal cortex. According to science, this is where the memories are made and stored away and recalled for our neural tissue, but that feels clinical, however true. And I've always hated hospitals. The smell. I was a toddler held down in a tiny, willful body, kicking and screaming, fighting. Necessary. Shots, recollections are what make us. The stuff of our composition, wrapped souvenirs from our past, warped souvenirs from our past, our fears, our guilty pleasures, our favorite smells and places. Remember. So this is like just making me think of polyvagal theory, stress and things. Basically, I think that becoming a parent is really allowing him to realize that, like, I was not treated well as a child, and I'm not going to stand for it anymore. So I think that he's on his healing path. I'm just going to say that. I know that sounds cheesy, but I think I was kind of wondering if this was just a PR thing to like distract us from all the pressure he has from like, oh, you should speak up about Sean Combs and Usher. I was thinking maybe that is what this is, but honestly I think like maybe in a PR level that's a plus, and that is part of it for sure, but I think that he genuinely is taking a stance, and I think that people are actually scared. Okay, I want to do him and Hailey. I'm going to keep going on with one of these decks, but which one should I do? I just heard this one, and I just heard Hailey. She's here. Oh, she's the 9 of Air, Pomegranate. 3 of Water, Lemon Balm. 6 of Air, Cattail reversed, and the Lovers reversed. 9 of Air, she's going through a lot of stress. I think when Justin is going through something hard, she empathizes with him, and it hurts her to see him like that. I've always had the feeling that she is like a parentified child. Like she's always been like a problem solver, like, oh, I'll fix it, I'll do it, let me at it. And she was put into like roles that were beyond what she should do. I feel like everything she's done, this is just coming to me, is like for the reason of stability and taking care of other people. Hopefully as she goes through her own Saturn return, she will allow herself to be individuated, and I think perhaps that is happening. Like, it's one thing to be a caregiver, there's nothing wrong with being a caregiver and a caretaker and caring for other people, but like it can't come at the expense of your own personality or like letting yourself shine. I feel like even in the past when she did let herself shine, like I know she was into ballet, it still was like to make other people proud, specifically like her family, or to like give honor to her family of like, I worked really hard at this and I tried, and yeah, she was always kind of feeding back something that wasn't necessarily nourishing her. She was trying to nourish others through her own existence. Okay, well, now we have the 9 of Air, Pomegranate, so maybe, you know, this is the card of Persephone, who, you know, went to the underworld, and eventually ate from the pomegranate and became Hades' queen. She was queen of the underworld, and that is what brought seasons to the earth, because she was like in the underworld for 6 months, and then she could come up for 6 months. And yeah, I think she is in a trial of, she's in a trial by fire. She's in like an initiatory experience. I do feel her really, really strong. I do see, like, maybe it's just because I'm talking about Persephone in this card, but I'm seeing like there is some positive priestess energy in her. But I feel like I heard that she hasn't been properly trained. But there are a lot of wounds that she wants to heal, and she is extremely stressed about it. She is up at night worrying about this shit that's happening to her and her family. It hurts her a lot. But it is upright, so she is motivated to be like, what is it that causes me so much stress? I need to look at this. This is a problem that needs to be solved. I do kind of feel her going into overdrive, but let's see what we have here. So we have the 3 of Water, Lemon Balm. So this is a really sweet card of like a tea party, of a children's tea party. This is 3 cups coming together. This is her, and something about when her and Justin and their child became a family, I think things shifted for them. It solidified their union and like their dedication to one another. So that's nice. Let me see. Sometimes I don't get the deepest meanings with this. I usually get like really mundane meanings. So thinking about this a little more deep, and I say that in quotations because it still isn't very deep, but what's really coming out to me is these 3 little bees with this lemon balm. The bees do love lemon balm. I think she's not used to like having to do this level of dirty work. Like, that's not the right word, but she is going to have to stand up and like take legal action, and it's going to be things that are going to be hard for her to do. So she may support Justin in like doing a lawsuit or like making a stance, and it's kind of putting them out to be more vulnerable than they ever have, which is kind of funny because they've gotten a lot of criticism, and Justin Bieber obviously has had mental health issues, and the relationship has been criticized, and so it's like, dude, you've already had a lot of stress, but she's opening it up, they're opening it up to be like, okay, we are going to start to bring some of our burdens out into the public square. They may start pointing fingers at people. They may feed into like blind items about people that have kept them down. I think they're going to get a little bit more strategic. Basically, they're just dipping their toes into the, like, holding the industry in Hollywood accountable. And it's because they're a family unit now, and they are motivated to, like, do some really, really, really deep healing and move forward. So I find that to be positive. And then we have the Six of Air, cattail reversed. Yeah, there's something about, like, social media not... It's hard for them, but I heard, like, not working gone wrong. Social media not working, social media gone wrong. I think they're gonna maybe do a little FU and not be so perfectly coiffed, and I mean, Justin isn't, but there's something that she's gonna do to get a little bit more raw. And I think there's kind of an emptiness she's feeling of like, what the heck was this all for? This is just a deeply personal card that I don't even know if this is related to anything to do with Justin, but I think she's just coming to her senses about, like, I don't need to be... It's just like a different marketing campaign than just being really cute and perfect and a clean girl aesthetic on Instagram. There's going to be something else that she does. She might be more of like an activist. She might start to, like, I see her in front of like a courthouse with like her baby on her hip, and she doesn't look perfect. I mean, she looks good, but like, it's not for like a photo shoot. She's just like, I'm here and I'm pissed. Just something a little bit different. So that's what we'll see kind of publicly, but behind the scenes, I think she's really, really struggling, and she's scared. She doesn't have a plan about how to move forward with all this trauma that is like they're going through and that is being directed at them. And then the Lovers reversed. I think it just she's in just a lot of pain, really. I would think that this is about Justin, but it's something a little bit more. Okay, because like her and Justin just had a kid, and that is really hard in your relationship. I don't care how many top of the line expensive round the clock nannies you have, it's really fucking hard. Like, you could have never changed a diaper, never have to get up at night. It's still hard. You still have hormones, first of all, if you just gave birth and you're nursing. And even the partner does too. And it's really throwing their bonds like up in the air. And kind of how like she, like, becoming a dad kind of kicked Justin into gear about standing up for things that aren't right, and wanting to take action to move on and like not be taken advantage of. I feel like a catalyst for her is that their family is evolving, and it's really, really hard on her. And so, and both of them, but like, God, when you just, sometimes when you become a new mom, it's hard to not like hate on a lot of things that your partner does. It's like, why did you put them in those socks? They don't fit. Why, you want him to be uncomfortable? Like, I'm just gonna say it's hormones, but it's like a different role change. Like, no longer is your partner like your number one. Your baby is your number one. But you still love your partner, it's just in a different way. And I think that is really, really hard on her, because he's kind of like a wreck and focusing on his own things. So And I want to do some Lenormand about what's going to happen with this lawsuit. And then at the end, I want to do a couple cards to like add some insight on the, I was going to say positive, that's not the right word. Some insight on like what would be some good energy to like think surrounding this situation. Like what can we learn? I don't know, something more integrative, because it's one thing to like hear about all these traumatic things that have happened and things getting exposed and things coming to a head. Man, even just the stress of like how having a baby can change your relationship. But then it's like, well, how are you gonna move forward with that? How are you going to integrate the stressful feelings, the traumatic feelings that's happening in your body? How are you gonna integrate them so that you don't always have to be in like this state of stress, you know, and like keep the trauma cycle going? Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Okay, so let's see what's gonna happen with this case. Right when I pick this card, like if there is gonna be a case even, right when I touch this, I just heard Lou Taylor. The stork, the ring, the anchor, the querent. Who is that? That's Justin. Uh-oh, the disease, the ways. Let's scoot this a little bit. Moon, tree, snake. So when I was shuffling, I heard that this was Luann Taylor. Luann or Luann? I don't know. Lou Taylor was the stork. But this kind of makes me think about Justin. But I'm going to go just right now with the fact that she's the stork. And if that's the case, this is like transition, change, wanting to enter a different phase of life. I think that could just be that she wants to quit working. She wants to completely transition her stuff. So she has businesses, she's going to move them. But for me, I really think that she is going to like leave. She might be a flight risk. The money is definitely a flight risk. And this whole row here, if we just go on that theme of like, she wants to fly away, overseas. And she's going to take all the goods and live on an island. Like that's kind of the first thing that I see. And are we surprised? Somebody was asked about where is Britney's money that Lou Taylor embezzled. And the person who responded said overseas. So I think she's going to keep doing that. I don't think that that's going to last forever though. I think there's going to be a scandal with where the money is. Maybe 50% of it she will be able to successfully hide, but not all of it. The querent, you know, this kind of makes me sad because I said this was Justin is what I got. And the mice is disease, and he's had Lyme disease. I've had Lyme disease. I completely relate to what he was going through. I think that he was taken advantage and he had Lyme brain, honestly. I'm just going to make an assumption about somebody's health on the internet. This is alleged for entertainment purposes only. He just wasn't in his right frame of mind. And I think he's coming out of a fog. I think having kids was actually really healing for him. Somehow I got him like in touch with his body and like this deep sense of like love and belonging and preciousness, and that put him in one hand that can be really healing, but then on the other hand it forces you to look at the shit that's happening in your life, and then you're like, oh great, now I have to solve this. But I do want to solve it because I want to be a better parent and I don't want things to happen, you know, I don't want to like push the buck on to the next generation. So I think that's kind of the center of this interaction between him and Lou. And I was thinking about what was going to happen with this lawsuit. I'll see if anything comes. He is at a choice point about how much he wants to say, how much he wants to do. The moon is like revealing of secrets. The tree, I've been thinking this whole reading, the Charlie XCX song, Apple. Just apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I think the apple's rotten right to the core. There's something about family-ness that he is really grappling with. This could be ancestral energy, it could be between him and his mom, which I think has been sketchy. he wants to escape. I just keep hearing the part of the song where it says, to the airport, to the airport, to the airport. Charlie wants to drive to the airport. Go, Charlie, go. Okay, and then the snake is, there's a snake in the grass. Oh, okay. He's understanding how much of his family, his team, his management has been completely taking advantage of him. 100%. There has been a snake in the grass. They've been treating him like family. It could also be his family. Anybody who was like, I'll take care of you, we got this, we're here for you. They were not. And he's totally shining. He's just understanding that now. And I think the center of it was just the fact that he was not in a well place and he was totally being taken advantage of. And if I may just take a complete, what is the word? Like assumption, that's not the right word. You know, it's like when you take a big guess at something. Anyways, I can't think of the word when I do these readings. I forget how to speak. But I almost wonder if they were purposefully taking advantage of him, like putting him in situations where he couldn't function, so he would do crappy deals. Like a couple years ago, he was going to do a tour, and then right away he backed out of the tour, and he's like, I can't do this, I am not healthy enough. And I don't think he ever wanted to do that tour, but they were going to like make him do it so that they could, I think people are just really, really pushing him to like be as crappy as possible. And when he was younger, he was very susceptible to that. But the thing about being a Pisces, you are to a certain extent tapped in, tuned on. You're very connected to what's going on. You like can get things. Like Pisces is connected to, it's kind of the idea that like everything is one. We're all one. What happens to me happens to you. I understand, the great, just how everything is interconnected. And they feel connected to every other person. And the people around him were seeing that as a disease, like, oh, he's so easy to take one over on because he's so emotional and he does, substances to like disconnect to himself. But what they don't see is that actually it's like, could be like not a superpower, but like it could be a positive. Like when he wasn't anesthetizing himself or like super sick in bed with a disease or like trying to make mental blinders and compartmentalize and avoid. Like Pisces will avoid the shit out of things. Like they will not look at stuff. But it's because they know if they do look at it, they're going to be flooded with like all this sort of truth and information, and like then a bunch of feelings will come because it's so much for them. So they can only keep the dam of avoidance going for so long. And they thought he was just always like that. But once he stepped out of that being so vulnerable and like disconnected, the second he's more connected and grounded into himself, he's like, okay, now I see what was happening. He knew it all along. He was just trying to distance himself from it because it was too painful. So they didn't really understand how he worked, and they thought that they could just keep him there. But it was totally not going to be easy. I just saw Brittany, and in the documentary that she put out called For the Record, and like they thought that they could make Justin be like that, but he's a completely different person, and so they couldn't do that to him. I think they only did it to Brittany because her kids were taken away from her, but like Justin's kid is with him, and it's a completely different conversation. Like if Brittany never had kids and they weren't holding that over her head, she probably would have fought them tooth and nail and just whatever. But anyways, it was just a different strategy, which sounds gross, but so that's a lot. I'm kind of getting a lot of information that is really hard for me to say. I'm just getting like feelings and stuff. But let me just take a look at this Lenormand to see if anything else comes out. The snake and the stork are opposite to each other. Now, the stork isn't necessarily always about like flying away somewhere. It's about starting, like, it's like a phase in life. Like literally it's the arrival of a baby. So I mean, this very well could be Justin having a child, his marriage wanting to feel solid is another way to look at that. But I was told it's Lou, and I do see her managing her goods and getting out of there. So I'm gonna stay with that. But like the opposite corner is the snake. So that's like a reflection of what she wanted to do. So, and then the anchor and the moon are opposite here. And it's like hiding where you're hiding stuff. X marks the spot, kind of piracy sort of stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I didn't get any information about how the lawsuit is gonna go. I don't think it's at the phase where it has come into play. I don't think they are ready to make a lawsuit. I don't think they're ready to name names. I think they're being very strategic. They're just throwing punches and seeing what happens. And this is just very in the very beginning stages. I'm hearing 3 years, whatever that means. I'm gonna pull one of these energy archaeology cards. Usually I don't really think they fit into like current event readings because it's very individual, but I just want to try it. And it's a completely different way to look at stuff. I don't even know how it's gonna fit, but I'm gonna pick one for like what Justin is working with right now. And I think it's something that we can all, oh my God, I keep getting this card. I seriously cannot believe it. This is the card of the week. I think this is like some collective energy. It's one of the few cards that I know because I've gotten it so many times. But it's about attunement and the fingers. And basically the key phrase for this card is that you are meant to be on this earth and you have everything that you need to exist here. You are no different from anything else on this planet. You are designed and like created, not from like a creationist way, but basically like your divinity, your form, your function, everything is like perfectly right. You are no different than the trees and the animals and the plants and the earth, and you have just as much right to be here as they do. You are not separate from the natural world, you are a part of the natural world. And in understanding that truth about yourself, that you are not separate from nature, you are nature, you get to be filled with the healing energy of nature. They don't say that, this is just what's coming through here. Basically, like, you're not separate from God, you're not separate from the earth, you're not separate from the cosmos, from your, if you're atheist, you could say you're not separate from your higher self, you're not separate from your deepest sense of truth and your, you know, your high morals and what it is that lights you up and makes you feel like a spark. You are not at all separate from that. There's nothing keeping you back from that. Like, maybe you feel that from a daily basis, but in reality, you are in the same exact attunement as everything around you that seems to be perfectly designed for this world. You are also perfectly designed for this world. So I see this as like part of his musical nature, which I think has been squelched and squashed and taken advantage of, because it looks like it's somebody holding a guitar chord. I don't even know if he plays guitar. I could see him doing that. Obviously it's about holding the baby too, and I just think that's really healing for him. The more he is engaged with his senses, the more that he will heal and come into the body, because like the felt sense is an incredible tool for overcoming trauma. And by overcoming trauma, it's like every single day, multiple times, you feel super stressed and tense, and like you vacillate between being really flooded and anxious and chaotic, having those like racing thoughts and like palpitations and like being like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, this is too much, I can't handle this, and then on the other end of that, stress response within the polyvagal nervous system is like being super rigid, being super numb and detached and unanimated and not tuned in. So that's like the other side. And then in the middle is when like you start to feel into things, and through that feeling you can like hold yourself within all of the super stressful symptoms of trauma, like the like chaotic flooding anxiousness as well as the numbness through your senses and like listening to your body and your fingers and what you feel. It grounds you and it gives something for the nervous system to do, which is really therapeutic. Okay, now I'm going to do a witchling card. I just think these ones are really cute and sweet. At first, they kind of bug me because all the witches are super white, but then I realized that they're kind of translucent, so I don't really know what's up with that. But then they're also like so small and skinny. But I have since gotten over that. If that bothers you, I totally understand. What really strikes me about these cards is just how cute the colors are. So it is kind of like a fairy type wisp of energy that comes in and it like brings in like a light, is how I feel. And I was gonna just do one, but I heard to do two. And I'm gonna pull from the top. So prosperity and meditation. Prosperity, know that you deserve all things wondrous and believe you can have them. Meditation will transport you to a place of bliss at any desired time of the day. Those are cute. I'm trying to see if I get any more details from these. I feel like this is probably why I wanted to pick these cards, because it brings me into like the fairy, angelic, helping spirit, nature spirit realm. And I do think that there are people, helping spirits, whatever, ancestors on the other side that are totally rooting for him. And I think a lot of people actually are like, we totally got you. You know, people, big names in the music industry, family that have passed. I'm burping as I was thinking that like European helping spirits, maybe from the pre-Christian era, I don't really know, but like something with his own like folklore. I see like just entertainers, and it's like you should be valued as an entertainer, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have an important job, and by seeing that you have an important job, you're going to get paid what you're worth, and this is going to benefit everybody. So I think that this is a good card kind of showing what could happen with potentially having a lawsuit or potentially taking some action. And then meditation, let's see if there's anything that comes here. I do see this center kind of solar plexus, third chakra. I think he's getting more grounded into himself. I think that having a kid is making him healthier. He's feeding himself well. I see him in a gym, moving his body. That can sometimes be hard for Pisces, to be like, oh yeah, that's right, I have a body that I need to take care of. This, I don't know why this came up, but I see him like playing with his baby, and as he does that, he is himself is going through the, what are they called? The primal reflexes. I used to know this when I was more into body work. When I used to be a tummy time coach forever ago at like a teen parent center. It was like 2007, I think. I worked there. Like I used to see him on his belly, like doing tummy time basically. And for him doing that, it like is activating a lot of things in his body and just creating a stronger brain gut connection. This is so cheesy. I'm sorry I'm saying this, but you know what? I just gotta say it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like legitimately this is what's happening. You know, it could be just a metaphor for something where no, I'm just hearing like he really is doing tummy time with his baby, and it like he's crawling around, he's like on the ground. I see like dog energy around him. I don't know if he has a dog, but like there's something about play and like different various movements throughout his day that is getting him more grounded. His sense of time is different, and somehow this is like changing his stress response. So I think this is really good, and honestly I want to do one more. Happiness. If happiness is what you want, then happy you shall be. So when I was shuffling these, I kept hearing the to the airport part of the Charlie XCX song Apple, and I was just imagining him at a Charlie concert. I don't know if he goes to concerts, but he should. He should go to a concert, and he should have fun. I saw him like in a concert, dancing, bopping around. Actually saw him smoking. I would be careful with the smoking. He's probably smoking weed in the whatever, like maybe he occasionally partakes. Hopefully, I don't know, he needs to be careful. But other than that, it seemed like something positive. And if he were to be seen going out to a concert, it would be just positive press. But more than that, I think it would just be fun. So I think that whatever is going on here is the right direction for him. Now, I didn't inquire about other aspects of his life, so maybe those are just a complete dumpster fire and he's totally depressed and is terrible, because I've heard that from readers and I totally understand. But that's not what I got here. So this particular outlet, I think, is going to be therapeutic, necessary, and it's going to be a sense of justice that will feed on itself and get the ball rolling for other areas of justice or like rightness in his life. Honestly, a part of me is like, is this reading really over? Because I thought that he was having a terrible time, and it feels like almost wrong to be so positive. But I mean, it isn't all positive. He really was taken advantage of, and people wanted to set him up and like benefit from him suffering. So I think that is definitely part of the situation. But in any case, I guess it just gives me a bit of hope that things might change, and I just heard it's all good. Okay, well, that's great to hear. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!